तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We are studying chapter 13, renunciation. The topic, what is renunciation? We start from the questions, the analysis, the questions of what renunciation is. The fourth paragraph. Does renunciation means isolation from society, retiring to secluded places? It cannot mean that. If so, it would be of no use to people to practice and live by. Renunciation is an essential ingredient of religion, designed for every human being for his evolution. He needs to apply it in all facets of life while interacting with the world. 2. If association with the world is permissible, does renunciation then mean abstaining from individual possession and enjoyment of worldly objects and beings? It cannot mean. India was the home of many royal sages. King Janaka's objects, but not enjoy their pleasures, to stimulate the appetite therefrom. That would be far more frustrating than total abstinence from them. Hence, there is no objection to enjoyment of sense objects. The practice of renunciation, therefore, does not taboo worldly possession or enjoyment. 3. Does renunciation then mean restricted possession and enjoyment? Fixing limits to the quantum of your possession? No, not even that. Had it been so, the practice with fixed limits for material possession and sensual enjoyment. Moreover, it is not possible to fix such limits in practical life. What is excessive for one may be insufficient for another, both in terms of material possession and sensual enjoyment. Hence, renunciation cannot be defined by such arbitrary boundaries. This truth has been highlighted in the scripture by two extreme examples. Lord Krishna was known to have kept the company of many gopis, milkmaids, yet he was acclaimed as Nitya Brahmachari, meaning perpetual celibate. So too was sage Durvasa, known for freely consuming food, and he was known as Nitya Upavasi, one on constant fast. These apparent contradictions are meant to drive home the truth that possession and enjoyment do not determine one's stature of renunciation. If the quantum of possession and enjoyment also is not related to renunciation, then what is renunciation? What is the difference between a materialistic, sensual person and a renunciate? This is the crux of the it becomes evident enjoyment, the quantum of possession enjoyment. Hence, you could acquire, possess, and enjoy objects beings without imposing any restriction or limitation. What then does confer the status of renunciation upon an individual? You can find that out by studying your own past life. In your childhood, you spent your time acquiring and enjoying toys and trinkets. Now that you are grown up, you no longer value them. You treat them as trifles. You are preoccupied with other attractions, caught up with family, name, fame, wealth, power. The childhood playthings do not hold your interest anymore. They drop off. You are said to have renounced them. What determines your dispassion towards your childhood interests? What ascertains that spirit of renunciation? Physical parting from playthings, not your disposition or non-enjoyment, nor limitation in their join your children at times enjoy playing with them anymore. They are not worth anything to you. You no longer credit them with any merit. Your interest has risen to greater heights. As you graduate to higher values of life, you automatically drop your interest, value for the lower. You grow out of it. That spirit of inner abstraction is the crux of renunciation. Thus, renunciation follows one's growth in personality, founded by knowledge established in the higher values of life. Arrive at the definition of. Is it breaking up too much? Because I'm having some internet issues.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is breaking.
Yeah, I'm having some issues this evening, but let us see. What is renunciation? Is analyzing it first. Renunciation is the principle. Renunciation is the crux. The art of living with the world without being identified with it. This is renunciation. So, Vedanta renunciation is the technique. It talks about the law of life and living. What is the law of life and living? Renunciation is that law. So it is very important to understand what renunciation is. The first misunderstanding, seclusion. The first misunderstanding that goes with the word renunciation is seclusion. So he says, does renunciation means isolation from society, retiring to secluded places? If this is what renunciation is, renunciation cannot be an essential ingredient of religion, nor it can be practiced. Therefore, first thing he says is renunciation is not defined by isolation from society or retiring to secluded places. So first misconception about renunciation is removed. What? It is not seclusion. If renunciation means seclusion, only a handful can practice it. That which can be practiced only by a handful cannot be a law of life. If we say it is a law of life, it should be applicable, it should be practical for all human beings. In the world, going into seclusion is, most of the time going into seclusion is an escapism. Not all those who secluded themselves are escapists. Don't conclude that way. Most of the people who misunderstood religion means seclusion means they run away. If my voice is breaking, please type or tell me. It's because the message is popping up for me all the time. Your internet connection is unstable. Your internet connection is unstable. So, so we'll keep seeing how long it goes. It goes. Otherwise, we will redo it again. No problem. So the first thing is renunciation is not seclusion. First thing, renunciation is not seclusion. For seclusion is the inability to handle a situation. A person run away because of the inability, incapacity to handle a situation. A situation that person created and he wants to run away from the situation that which he created. Therefore, renunciation does not mean running away, seclusion. First thing. First misconception about renunciation is removed. That it doesn't mean seclusion. Why? Those are the reasonings we gave. The second question. So, renunciation is not seclusion. It means association with the world is allowed. Association with the world is allowed, but don't have anything from the world. This is far more painful than running away. You have it, but you can't enjoy it. That is far more torturous than running away. So it cannot be that either. What is that? Does renunciation mean abstaining from individual possession and enjoyment of worldly objects? I will be in the world. Sangha means association. And when the king joined the Sangha, the disciples were all very much excited. Why? Because if the very famous and popular, no? Yeah. Vijaynath, Ganesh, Shankar, இவங்களெல்லாம் கிளாஸ்ல வச்சு என்ன பண்றது? Yeah. What is the use of all these people attending in this class? If we say a Bill Gates coming, yeah, a Bill Gates coming, Narendra Modi is coming and sitting abdinna, Virat Kohli is coming and sitting abdinna, what a, yeah. So everybody will be so excited. So when the king joined the Sangha, the disciples were all excited. They were all really excited. And Buddha said, Buddha refused to even talk to that person. Buddha refused even talk to him. He said, just be part of the group, that's all. And everybody was praising the king. Why everybody was praising the king? The spirit of renunciation in him was so high, that all disciples were praising the king to Buddha. What is the spirit of renunciation? If all the disciples ate 2 meals a day, the king will eat once in 2 days, 1 meal. Walk on the road, he will walk by the side, the thorns. If everybody sits under the tree shade, he will sit under the sun. And what a spirit of renunciation. What a spirit of renunciation. 6 months, that man became a bag of bones, about to die because of this practice of renunciation. What do you think that you are going to achieve by this practice of renunciation? Previously, you were indulging in acquisition and enjoyment. Now you are indulging in pain. But nevertheless, you are moving from one extreme to the other extreme. But this has got nothing to do with, it has got nothing to do with renunciation. Previously, you were extreme, one extreme of acquisition, indulgence, enjoyment. Now you have gone to the other extreme. What is the other extreme? The other extreme of starvation, pain. Previously, if you want to be called as the king of the world, now you want to be called as the king of sannyas. What is driving you this? Previously, you want to be king of the world. Now you want to be the king of sannyasis. That is not renunciation. So what is he saying here? You can be part, you should be part of the world. You can be part of the world. If you are part of the world, what you should do then? Do not possess anything, do not enjoy anything. When everybody else is enjoying, a man of renunciation means you should not enjoy. He says that also doesn't more damaging than this kind of renunciation brings far more damage than any growth. Therefore, renunciation doesn't mean that also. The tradition speaks about royal sages. The tradition speaks about royal sages. Who are the royal sages? Who are those? Being amidst the midst of objects and beings. Tradition apart, he says, tradition apart, even logically, it doesn't make any sense. Psychologically, it is far more damaging than telling the person to escape. Therefore, this is also not renunciation. Then comes the third question. What is the third question? Okay, so you can be part of the world. You can be part of the world. You can acquire and possess, but acquire and possess within limits. Yes, sir, it is perfectly correct. We should be part of and world இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் we all need as limits, sir. For which he says that also doesn't mean renunciation. That also doesn't mean renunciation. Why that also doesn't mean renunciation? Because fixing a limits is the most impractical, absurd thing to do. For you cannot fix a limit. You cannot fix a quantum. You cannot fix a limit. You cannot fix a quantum. It is impossible to fix limits because it keeps changing from person to person, and in a person also it keeps varying. Therefore, possession and enjoyment is allowed. Seclusion is not renunciation. Possession and enjoyment is allowed. There is no, you cannot fix limits also. Are you able to follow? Sir, we are already like that. We are not secluded from the environment. We are not secluded from the society. We are part of the world, and we are also into acquiring and enjoyment. And we are, so all that he has said, we are already doing it. Then what is the difference between a materialistic person and a person of renunciation? This is the crux of the problem, he says. This is the crux of the problem. What is it? You could remain amidst people and prosperity. You could acquire, possess, and enjoy objects and beings without imposing, be a renunciate. This idea of renunciation of Vedanta is very, very difficult to digest, difficult to understand, and difficult to digest. For we all will agree to limits as the concept of limiting it as a concept of renunciation. We are all happy with accepting limits as part of renunciation. And here he is saying even you cannot fix any limits like that. Nitya Brahmachari, Krishna and Durvasa, the two extremes. According to the legend, according to the story, Krishna had 16,000 plus wives. Having 16,000 plus wives and living a married life, even Dasharatha didn't have so many wives. Even Ravana didn't have so many wives. Even Ravana, Dasharatha didn't have so many wives. Krishna had is number one in that list. Indulgent for two things. What are the two things? One is his short temper, and another is the amount of food that he consumes. Durvasa. And Durvasa is called Nitya Upavasi. Nitya Upavasi means a person who is on perpetual, constantly he is fasting. Nitya Brahmachari means a perpetual celibate. Krishna is known as a perpetual celibate. Durvasa is known as a Nitya Upavasi who is on constant fast. Why they are called so? Because it is not the contact that defines renunciation. It is not what you contact. It is not how much you contact. The quality of the contact, the quantity of the contact doesn't determine your spirit of renunciation. Then what is it? You can find that out by studying your own experiences of life, he says. What is that experience of life? One's own childhood. All of us went through the childhood and we were attached to toys and trinkets, playthings. Every passing generation, the toys keeps changing, but all childhood gets attached to the toys. Matchbox labels used to be, I never used to collect that, but I have heard matchbox labels, single films, negatives, all this is to be the prized possession, marbles, all this seems to be the prized possession. And then came something, and then came something else, and then came something else. Now the toys are different. Real toy, virtual toy. There's no real toy. It's all games. I don't know what some name they call it. I don't even know some name it is called. Shooting and firing and murdering and killing and all that. What happened when you grow up? The toys remain there. Nothing happened to the toys, but you outgrew the toys. The toys are still there. Nothing happened to the toys. You didn't run away from the toys, but one thing happened in you. What? You outgrew the toy. You outgrew your need and dependency on the toys. So what is growth? You outgrow the need of the toy and you outgrow the dependency of the toy. Just as a child we were attached to it, when we grew up, we renounced them, as it were. You didn't renounce the toy, you actually outgrow them. The fact that you overgrown, the fact that you rise above that is what renunciation is all about. So what determines the level of renunciation now? The level of renunciation is determined by not by your association with the toy world. Your level of renunciation is determined by, do you value them or it is of no value to you? Do you need them and be dependent on them, or you don't need them and not dependent on them? In compared to the toys, we can understand, but we can't understand that we have left one toy and we have picked up another toy. We can understand it in relation to the toy car, we can understand, but we cannot understand it in relation to we have left that toy but picked up another toy. What is the other toy? Remember the poem, Toys. What toys makes your joys? He asks. What toys makes your joys? And what are the toys that makes your joys? Family, name, fame, wealth, power, position, status. If these things are taken away, you are depressed, agitated, you suffer, just as the child is depressed, agitated, suffering when the toys are taken away. You can't tell the child, drop the toys. What it will do? You can't tell the child, drop them. Okay, drop them. But then what it will do after that? Drop them and stay quiet. Huh? It can't. So, so the child cannot drop the toys, but the child can pick up something higher. When the child picks up something higher, automatically the lower falls off. So, one is the stage of renunciation, another is how do you practice and achieve that state. Both are explained. What is that state? First, that state is explained. That state of renunciation is explained first. What is that state of renunciation is explained first? The toys are there. You could remain amongst them. You could possess them. You could enjoy them. No restriction or limitation. And yet you are a renunciate. That state is achieved by, that state of growth is achieved by dropping the toy world. The child picked up something higher. When the child picks up something higher, the lower drops off. So what is the practice to get to that state? Pick up something higher. For the child and the toy, it is very clear. What toys lane the bicycle vandirthuna, from the toys, if it moves on to the bicycle, it becomes, the growth is there. In the case of an adult, family, name, fame, power, position, status, all these, you cannot drop them, nor do you know what is the higher to take it up. This is where Vedanta comes in. Are you able to see the connection? Just as the child can be given a bicycle, when the higher is taken up, the lower falls off. In the case of the child, that example is very clear. But what happens in the case of most of the human beings? What are the toys that they are so attached to that they can't conceive of anything higher? What are the toys that they are attached to? Family, name, fame, wealth, power, position, status. These are the, you cannot conceive of anything higher than that. Since you cannot conceive of anything higher than that, since you are not able to move up higher, what happens? You have the difficulty. What is the difficulty? You have the difficulty. What is the difficulty? The difficulty of not knowing how to practice renunciation. Anything other than the seven, the mind is not. Anything other than the seven, the mind is not attracted to. Mind doesn't want that. Even when you come to Vedantic knowledge, you come to Vedantic knowledge to deal with the seven only. No. Nobody comes to Vedantic knowledge to transcend the seven. Even when they come to Vedantic knowledge, why do they come for? இந்த ஏழுத்தினால வர பிரச்சனை எப்படி டீல் பண்றது? அந்த ஏழுனால வர பிரச்சனை எப்படி டீல் பண்றதுன்னு டீச்சர்ஸ். That's all. We didn't come here for transcending the seven. இது நீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்லயே சொல்லிருந்தீங்கன்னா வந்தே இருக்க மாட்டோம். You have told us in the very first session, we wouldn't have come anywhere near this Vedanta at all. Why? Because we are not able to conceive of anything higher to let go of the toy. So infatuated to them, so attached to them, so valuable it becomes. Therefore, what happens? It's no more a toy, it is real for you. The word toy means it appears to be real, but it is not real. That's what toy means. What does toy mean? It appears to be there. The Barbie doll, up to boyfriend, I knew what happened to Barbie doll. After that, I don't know what happened. Because Swati outgrew that and we stopped Barbies after that. Maybe she's married and having kids and all. No, I don't know. I came up to the level of Barbie having a boyfriend. Now, for the child, Barbie is not a toy. For the child, it is. For the child, it's real. For the child, that Barbie is not a doll. Barbie is not a toy. For the child, the toy is real. Similarly, for the grown-up, you can't use the word grown-up. Similarly, for the adults, they don't see it as toy. They see it as real. They see it as real. The family, the name, the fame, the wealth, the power, the position, the status. Yesterday, I was visiting one of the families that is very close and very dear to me. Very close to me and very dear to me. I was visiting that family. They're talking about the 87-year-old man, obsession for wealth, making a misery of making life miserable for everybody. 87-year-old man, all the time the thoughts are, this month how much interest would have come from the deposits? Is the interest credited into the account? Cross-checking it every other day. They are saying, the family is saying, it is miserable to him and miserable to others. For you can't go and tell him it is a toy. You can't go and tell him it is a toy. Why you can't tell him that it is a toy? For him it is real. For him it is real. What is real for human being? See, even all those who are sitting here, what is real? Okay, you may not be so interested in, of the 7, you may not be interested in all the 7. Correct? But that's where your misunderstanding lies. That's where your delusion lies. When you are interested in the toy world, everything in the toy world will be of interest. It is not that you have extreme attachment to it. You have only family mattumna sir and problem. But otherwise, I don't have a name, fame, power, position. I am not worried. A human being is attached to a human being, but attachment remains to all the 7. For one is interconnected to the what determines your dispassion towards your childhood interests. You have understood that they have no value. So what is renunciation? An understanding that things have no value. Amma sir, it has no value, but I will keep all the things that have no value. You can't say that either. So what is renunciation? Renunciation is knowledge. Renunciation is knowledge. What wealth family can give and what family cannot give. What it can give and what it cannot give. You have this knowledge, you know the right value of what wealth is. That right value is what is called renunciation. You can't say zero value either, because it is. So you can't say it is zero value. You can't say it is valuable. So it is somewhere in between, not knowing under what category you can put it. So what is renunciation? Knowing what it can give and what it cannot give. What wealth can give and what wealth cannot give. What family can give and what family cannot give. When you understand all this, you know that you have the right. You know that you have the right value. And that right value is called renunciation. And that right value is called renunciation. a very beautiful analysis and derivation of what is renunciation. So from this, what do you understand from all this definition? Renunciation is of the mind. Renunciation is of understanding. It has got nothing to do with what you possess or what you do not possess. Upanishad talks about the story. The Upanishad talks about the story. The king wanted to, the son of Vyasa, Sukhabrahma Rishi, wanted to know what sannyas is. So he went and asked his father, Vyasa himself, what is sannyas? What is sannyas? He asked the father. Father Vyasa said, I don't know what sannyas is completely. If you really want to know what sannyas is, go and learn from Janaka, he said. Go and learn from Janaka. You must understand, Janaka is a name. Don't equate Janaka and Sita's father, don't misunderstand. That man is also a great man. But when we talk about the Upanishads, Janaka, he is a very great king. Not that Janaka of, not that Sita's father. We know only one Janaka and we think, sir, but Vyasa, Sukhabrahma Rishila, Mahabharatathila வந்தாங்க. அவங்க எப்படி போய் ராமாயணத்துல இருக்கிற one யுகாக்கு பேக்ல போய் don't get into all this unnecessary things. எல்லாம் we neither know Dwapara Yuga nor Treta Yuga to know the connection and all. So Vyasa sent Sukhabrahma Rishi to learn sannyas from Janaka. See, today if we want to teach somebody sannyas, we will teach them go to, who we will teach them go to sannyas, go and learn sannyas? Somebody who has renounced and living with the upper robe. No. We cannot think of a person like this can be a renunciate also. Sukhabrahma Rishi goes and goes to Janaka. It's a long, it's not a long drive. It's a long walk. Weeks together he has to walk to reach the palace. He reached the palace and said, Sukha has come. Janaka welcomed him with all the traditional way of welcoming the wise man and all that. And then Sukha said, I have a question to ask you. I have a question to ask you. Janaka said, ask this question after 3 days. First, rest for the first 3 days and ask the question the 4th day. And Sukha was living in the palace, luxury, and he was seeing Janaka going about his routine. 4th day came. Sukhabrahma Rishi told Janaka, thank you, I am leaving. And Janaka said, convey my regards to your father. And he sent him. He went to the gate and he came back. Janaka said, what happened? I asked one question to my father, and my father said to go and ask you. having come and seen you for the 3 days, I know that you have no clue to what? You have no clue to what sannyas is. So I am leaving. But then my father will ask, did you ask the question to Janaka? So I am asking you this question. What is sannyas? Sukha Brahmarishi is asking Janaka, what is sannyas? Janaka says, oh, you came for that. Yes. Go and tell your father that a fool like you cannot be taught, he says. Wednesday study class teacher, students, nobody will be in that list. Teacher on the list, student on the list. Wednesday, no teacher, no student will fall under that category. And Janaka tells Sukha, tell your father that a fool like you cannot be taught what sannyas is. When he said a fool like you cannot be taught, Sukha prostrated and said, since you speak with such conviction, looks like you know the answer to the question, and teach me what? And teach me what sannyas is. And Janaka taught him what sannyas is. What did he teach him? He said, renunciation is the right value that you set. You may be amidst them, you may be contacting them, you may be enjoying them, but you have no value for them. You have no value for them. So renunciation is determined by the value that you place on them. The value that you place on them. What is the value that you place on them? Value means what? It is important to life. Without this, you cannot live. It's called value. Value na enna artham? This is important to life, and without this, life cannot be led. For a peaceful, happy life, these things are a must. Vedanta nice to hear, but nothing will work in practical life. For these things are needed. What are the things that is needed in life? The name, the family, the power, the position, the status. All this you feel that it is needed to life. Now renunciation teaches you that there is a different way of living life. That different way of living life is pitching up a life of higher values. And the highest value is moksha, liberation. Vedanta comes and teaches there is a different way of living also. What is that different way of living? That different way of living is by practicing higher values. And the highest value is self-realization, moksha, liberation becomes the highest value. Therefore, a person who is living a life of higher value is known as practicing renunciation. Only when you pitch up something higher, these 7 that the mind is attached to will appear will not appear, will show its true color to you. As long as you are dependent on them, it will never show its true colors to you. When you rise to a higher value, you will be able to see these 7 very clearly. That clarity of vision is called sannyas, renunciation. The clarity with which you see these 7 is called sannyas. How do you get there? You get there, he says, founded by knowledge, established in the higher values of life. Founded by knowledge, that is, established in the higher values of life. What is that higher values of life and all that? I will continue next session, not today. I will continue that in the next class. For today, it is, what is renunciation? Renunciation is recognizing that these 7 that you are dependent upon is not, are the toys that is valuable to you. So renunciation doesn't mean running away from these 7. Renunciation doesn't mean fixing a quantum of these 7. Renunciation doesn't mean you can be with them but not enjoy the 7. It means what? You can have the 7, be with them, need not run away from them, acquire as much as you want, possess, and then what is the difference between the materialist is one who values them. Renunciate is one who has understood the right value. Materialist is one who has given all these a black market value. A renunciate is one who has given the right value to this 7. By virtue of what he is able to do that, for he started living a life of higher values, not chasing these 7. Not merely running and chasing these 7, that person pitched up a life of higher values. And the highest value being self-realization, God realization. The highest value being self-realization and God realization. This is as far as renunciation for this session. Next session, we will continue with the higher values story. I knew there was some disturbances in the session today because of the internet issues that I had. I will quickly do the summary of all these in the next session, and then we will continue. Continue from there. No. Your internet connection is unstable. See, even now it is popping up. Your internet connection is unstable. So what I would do is, I would not read the text. We would summarize it. We will see a short summary of all this, and then move on to the text, as in the highest value is the state of. With this, we conclude for